Why, hello there. This is my review for the Real Housewives of Potomac. What episode are we on? 15. And let me just get the disclaimer out the way. However you feel about any of these ladies on the cast, like you could stand for somebody, I don't care. But this is my opinion. So don't get mad at me for my opinion. We can disagree respectfully, but if you come crazy, I'm gonna come crazy. So yeah, let's get into it. So we left off in the last episode, Wendy confronting the other ladies that were talking about how they were at the table the other night, kind of snickering and giving faces to each other while Jazelle was talking about Grace. Wendy's asking what's going on, and people look like they didn't want to talk about it. But Robin said like she noticed it and she didn't like it. Wendy then goes into a soliloquy about Jazelle trying to weaponize her daughter. She did it at the reunion, I think 2 seasons ago. In my opinion, let's just take her daughter out of it. Like, she could be talking about anything. I just don't understand, to me, why Candace lets Jazelle affect her that way. Like, she didn't even have to acknowledge it. And like Candace said in the scene, she doesn't see it for Jazelle. She's uncomfortable around her, and when she's speaking, she doesn't pay attention. Well, you were paying attention because you and Wendy gave reactions to while she's speaking. For example, I've been in a friend group before where there's one person I don't like. And, you know, when they're in conversation with somebody, I just don't feel the need to acknowledge them. I pay them dust. Like, why even give them reactions if my name is not involved? Especially when they're talking about their kid or something like that, or something personal. Like, why even give people the ammunition to even bring this up? Now, it's been brought up that Jazelle's done this before, but I don't think it's been done during the same type of subject matter. Like, yeah, maybe during the game, or maybe when they're talking about sexual stuff, but not when it's like sensitive things like someone's child. But after Candace makes it known that it has nothing to do with her daughter, then they just move on. Robin lets other ladies know what's the next activity for the evening. It's also so weird how they just move on. Okay, we're gonna pretend to get along now with these people we don't fuck with. So we just fast forward right to the evening. The ladies are coming down for dinner. And I must say, Jazelle looks good in this gold. Now, the back part, I was just like, but from the front and, you know, the shoes, it's cute. And again, Jazelle is just being Jazelle. And the camera goes to Candace again, making faces. I'm just like, Jazelle's existence has Candace so pressed. I want her not to care. Ignore her. Like she's ignoring you. Anywho, I'm seeing all the ladies' outfits and they all look great. Like collectively, this is the best they've looked. Well, Nneka, she's messing it up because she looks a hot mess. Okay, Ashley come out and I gotta change my mind. Some of the ladies look good. As Ashley comes out in her tiny outfit, you know, the carnival type outfit, we cut to Candace's confessional, and she looks stunning by the way, but she calls Ashley a $2 hoe most of the time, but tonight she looks good. The shade is heavy. So the dinner's going okay for 2.5 seconds until Karen brings up the elephant in the room between Robin and Candace. She's asking the two of them, are they able to get back to progression? I don't think so. I really don't, especially with Jazelle on the cast. It's not gonna be possible. Like somebody has to go on this cast. Like yeah, Ashley can go, but it has to be either Jazelle or Candace for it to work. And I don't know how it's gonna work without Candace, and I don't know how it's gonna work without Jazelle, because even though y'all hate Jazelle, Jazelle is the face of the franchise along with Karen. So Robin tells Karen that her issue is that Candace thinks that she did not do anything wrong. And she's not taking accountability for anything. This is the same merry-go-round, y'all. Like, they were talking about this at Chicken Shit Bingo. Like, we're at a stalemate. I don't think Candace is going to apologize. Robin calls it defamation, and now the two of them are going back and forth. And now we're talking about the Chris situation. Oh, Lord. Ashley then asks Candace, like, sitting here right now, do you still believe the things that you said? And Candace says she doesn't know. I'm confused because Candace has stood 10 toes down on everything. So I'm not sure why she's unsure of this. Like, do you want to be friends with Robin or not? But she's saying at this point, it doesn't matter. So Robin says all she can do at this point is be cordial. Nneka tells Candace it seemed like she's still open to being friends with Robin. And Candace says, well, I'm open to shutting the F up and moving on. And they leave it at that. So then Jazelle gets up from the table to bring Ashley her little dessert with the sparkler. They're wishing her happy birthday. Jazelle almost drops the sparkler in Ashley's lap. But then, now we get a little flashback of asking her confessional, saying that, I celebrated my birthday with these ladies for 8 seasons. They witnessed the birth of her kids, the restaurant opening and shutting down. Like, it almost seems like a little send-off. So I wouldn't be surprised if she was demoted or just isn't coming back. So the dinner's over, they're all dancing afterwards, and next scene is the following morning. We're with Jazelle and Karen, they're talking one-on-one, and Jazelle gives her more insight on why she didn't want to go to Surrey when it was Wendy and Candace involved. She's saying basically these women don't have her best interests, and it really annoyed her on the beach when they were talking about the situation at the table that Karen was neutral in the situation, or she was saying that, well, everybody makes faces, they're both shady to each other. Jazelle wants to know from her, when are you going to ride for me? Because she thought children were off limits. Karen says she wants to know why they always feel she needs to pick a side. She says Jazelle should know that she has her back. She's known her the longest. They're going back and forth now, and Karen's telling Jazelle, you had the opportunity to say that children are off limits. Why do I have to do it? Karen does have a point though. Like, if you got an issue with Candace and Wendy, then you talk to Candace and Wendy. Don't try to get somebody to speak up for you. Not everybody is your lapdog like Robin. So it looks like production catches Karen in a lie. She tells Jazelle that when she's hanging with Candace and Wendy, she doesn't say anything that she doesn't say to her face. And production, they go back to when she was telling Candace that Jazelle has nothing going on for herself or she's dumb. I mean, I feel like Karen has told Jazelle this to her face. In this back and forth, though, they do come to an understanding. She says going forward, she'll try to see Giselle's point of view because she doesn't think Jazelle is a bad person, which is a funny statement within itself. So it's just like they're in a good place with each other, even though it's more fun when they're enemies. I do wonder though, why can Karen move on with Jazelle, but she can't move on with Charisse? Not Jazelle bringing up Brandy and Monica as an analogy of her and Karen. And then she shades Monica in the process, trying to say Brandy had the better career. In any case, Monica is doing just fine. So next scene, we see all the ladies doing their next activity, which is visiting a castle. So they're all at lunch now on the property, and Karen is talking about her trainer. It's Vernon Davis, this ex-football player. Not sure why she wanted to keep it a secret. So Ashley says she knows Vernon, and she's giggling while she says it. And she's hyping it up, and nothing happened between them, but it's just like heavy flirtation, I guess after she broke up with Michael. Or maybe she's lying and they did get it in. Most of this cast be lying. Oh God, so the next topic of conversation, again, is by producer Karen Huger, and she brings up the conversation that her and Jazelle had earlier. They're now debating whether Karen is the same when Candace and Wendy are around as opposed to when they're not. They're saying when Karen is in a group situation with Wendy and Candace around, she's meaner. And then production gives a bunch of examples. Wendy brings up that Karen is the same. She just said when we're all in a group setting, she's holding people accountable. Yeah, sure. I just don't care. I feel like Karen is the same around everybody, and her relationship with Jazelle is the same. Like, they're frenemies. We move on from Karen to the new girl, Kiarna, pointing out that the biggest underlying tension she gets is from Candace and Jazelle. And Candace says, we don't even need to talk about it. Wendy tries to bring up the point that Candace and Robin were friends. Like, what you're seeing is, like, it was never like, oh, I don't like this person. Like, they used to be friends and now they're not. Then she brings up her friendship with Jazelle as an example, and we see in flashbacks that they actually used to get along, like maybe 3 seasons ago. Now, like, they're just not friends, and they both acknowledge that. But we brought all this up for what? And like, all the issues is out, but no one wants to fix it. And that's why the cast needs to change, because they brought up all these friend dynamics. All these people don't like each other and won't move forward, but they're not willing to resolve it. And if they don't resolve it, we're just going to get this same type of show. I just want to be entertained. I want the show to be good. But it just kind of reminds me like of on Jersey, the whole Melissa versus Teresa. It's been done to death. They're not going to acknowledge each other anymore. They hate each other. The only difference is though, on Jersey, that's just one friendship where they just won't acknowledge each other. You have several on Potomac, and that's a problem. So then after dinner, the ladies split up into two groups to do two different activities. So in one group, you have Wendy, Karen, Candace, and Mia. They're playing tennis. And the rest of the ladies are doing the shooting range. So we're with that group, and we see Jazelle asking Kiarna, like, what does she think, being around the ladies' first cash trip. And Kiarna, she's digging everybody so far. And I actually like her. She really makes a good friend of. Kind of strange how they introduced her on the tail end of the season. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing her back. So then Robin asks her, since you're Wendy's friend, like, did she tell you anything about the group, like, to watch out for somebody? And Kiarna says no. And she tells Jazelle she was never told by Wendy that she doesn't like her. So then Kiarna brings up the situation between Wendy and Nneka. Now see, I was on Twitter and they were saying that the Green Eyed Bandits brought up the Wendy and Nneka situation to Kiarna, but Kiarna did clearly. And Robin brought up Wendy because this is Wendy's friend hanging around everybody else. So I understand her bringing up Wendy. But Nneka's with them, and after she finished shooting, she goes over as they're talking about her situation with Wendy, and she gets super defensive immediately. But now it looks like Nneka and Kiarna going back and forth. Nneka says she doesn't care, and she tells her to quit stirring the pot. And then I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Two dark-skinned girls arguing. We can't have that. We can't have it. Can they stop with the pot analogies? Like, Nneka's like, yeah, you're stirring it. It's already overflowing to get off the stove. And then Kiarna comes back and says, baby, I already done stirred and stewed it. I'm off the pot. And then we cut to Jazelle talking to Ashley. I'm confused, honestly. I don't want them to argue, but then we cut back to the other ladies playing tennis. So they're on the topic of feet because of Karen's weird toes, but then Mia takes the conversation to something different, like foot fetishes, because of, I guess, her stripper pass. We're back with the other ladies, and now Jazelle wants to get more tea from Ashley about Vernon. I feel like Jazelle also senses that Ashley isn't telling the whole truth, and they probably did something. You don't have scrolls and scrolls of messages with somebody you're flirting with if there ain't no, some exchanges going on. We're going back to the tennis ladies, and now Mia's being messy and asking the other women, like, what do they think about Ashley's divorce? And then she tells them their conversation that she had with her, just saying the main reason she hasn't divorced Michael yet is because of maybe financial worry. And Mia interprets that as Ashley, always being a gold digger. Now, she should know that this topic is going to come up later at the next dinner. They go back to Ashley. She's like giggling about Vernon. And Nneka's like, is he your type? And I immediately was like, Ashley like white men. Jazelle said the same thing on camera. I knew it. I was just like, Ashley like black men? So some of the ladies are talking about their experience with divorce, and come through Karen in the confessional with a word. She says it is easy to marry a rich man as it is a poor man, but if your main objective is to marry for money, then you'll always be sad. And that's a word. I feel like we see that a lot, especially on Housewives franchises, and it turns out to be true. So the activities for the day are over. We then cut to later in the evening. The ladies are getting ready for dinner. We're with Ashley right quick as she's on FaceTime with her kids. And I guess Michael is on the other line, just letting her see their kids. But then she lets him know she's on camera, and then he turns off the video on their FaceTime. And she's like, Michael, put my kids back on. But she's like, well, he doesn't want to be filmed ever, doesn't want to be on the show, and if he is filmed, he's going to sue her. He has too much control over her, and she really has made her own bed with this whole Michael thing, because I remember, maybe 3-4 seasons ago, she said that she was set in their prenup. But it looks like Michael had the last laugh, and it looked like she's not coming back, so she better hope there's a girls trip in her future. So now we see all the ladies head to dinner, and this is the last night. So the first topic of conversation at the table, the girls who played tennis, they're talking about how their day went and what they talked about. They talked about Ashley's divorce, and Wendy and Candace happily tell Ashley what Mia said about it. Wendy says in front of the table that Mia called her a gold digger. Well, at least Mia copped to it. Mia then tells Ashley that she thinks she's not getting a divorce because she married Michael for his money. Ashley then asks, did you marry Gordon for his money? Mia's like, I might have. And I'm like, didn't she just say that Gordon was broke the other day? And I think some of the ladies are like, that's not true. So then Ashley continues and tells Mia, didn't you say you were contemplating divorce? And Mia's like, yeah, I told you I was thinking about it. I'm very open about my stuff. And then she tells Ashley that she needs to be more honest with herself. Whew. Like, it's really hard to embarrass Mia because she has no shame. So we cut to Candace's confessional first, and she said, I might be fine with old long balls if it meant that I could shop at Dior more. We cut to Ashley's confessional. She says Mia's just jealous. She thought she was gold digging, but she found fool's gold. My gold was real. She found pyrite. Not her knowing the actual stone. I will say though, Ashley, you're reading yourself, so you are a gold digger. So Ashley breaks it down to the ladies. She only gets child support. She doesn't get alimony. But then Mia brings up, so you don't use the credit cards, you don't have a share account. She says no at that point, but we cut to her confessional and she's like, yeah, I get child support for the kids, but we both contribute to that. And then she can't answer the question about using the credit cards and a shared account. Girl, just be honest because you look even crazier trying to lie. She's like, oh, he said I can use the credit card in cases of emergency, but I don't want to use it. Jazelle says at the table that if she was gold digging, then she'd still be with Michael. I mean, she hasn't divorced him. But then she changes the topic to Vernon, and they're asking Karen, well, if he's not a personal trainer, then why are you using him? And Robin is the one that asked Karen this question. I'm just like, Robin, why are you coming for Karen? You know she gonna get you. Karen's like, I look good for 60 and I'm in shape. Then Robin's like, okay, well, are you in shape or do you have heart problems? Which one is it? So they're going back and forth. And I just want to say Robin opened the gates for this. So any reads that come her way, she earned them. They just talking nonsense now. Like Karen's talking about was she trying to work out and she's still not answering the question. Like, why don't you get like an actual trainer or to help you with your heart health? And she's still just going on evading the question. Well, this was nice at least. The shade didn't get dark. They're laughing and they're like, work on your inner thighs. Work on your inner thighs. And they start dancing and they're all laughing together. Child, so the credits are rolling. They give a fake cheers and that is where the episode ends. A fairly decent episode. When is the reunion? I know they filmed it like last week. So that means I think we got maybe 2 more episodes to go. So next week's episode looks interesting. We're with Charisse. She's having a crab boil. Call back to season 1. Okay. And then we get a special appearance from Jacqueline. And some argument happens involving Robin. Y'all let me know what y'all thought of this episode. Y'all know the deal. I don't really care for Potomac. I'm waiting for it to end. Put me out of my misery. But yeah, with that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all for the next episode. Unfortunately. Bye.